A confused woman would like to know who stole her entire driveway. Germany cancels a Holocaust artifact auction after some backlash, and a new study suggests that drinking a lot in your teenage years leads to more success later in life. These are the weird stories for Wednesday on Weird AF News. This is the only daily weird news podcast, and it's hosted by a Los Angeles comedian inside his closet. Here we go. A woman has her driveway stolen, and she's confused and would like to know who did it, who stole her driveways. I covered a story back in 2023 about a woman who had her driveway stolen. Turns out the driveway bandits are at it again. You know, times are tough when driveways are getting stolen. Yeah, we're heading into economic doom when you gotta lock up your ground. Let's dive into the story, see if we can find a motive. Perhaps this was just some sort of construction confusion. The article says, while this sounds like something out of a sitcom, a local woman has concrete evidence that shows otherwise. Oh, the puns up top already. We have a local realtor named Paige. She purchased her house in October of 2024. Over the summer, she listed the home for sale. She's trying to flip it and resell it. Well, last week, potential buyers and her agent called her to notify her that something was missing from the home that she bought. Here's a quote from Paige as she described how it all went down. She says, I got a call over the weekend, and they were like, hey, we would like to put in an offer for your home, but could you tell us, when are you going to finish up the driveway? And then I'm like, well, the driveway had a couple of cracks in it, but we're not planning on redoing the driveway so much. And the woman was like, well, we must be at the wrong house then, because this home doesn't have a driveway at all. It's just, it's gone. It's not there. I was surprised, of course. Who steals a driveway? Now, Paige told the local news that at least 3 vehicles were at her home on Friday. According to her, there was a truck with a trailer, a dump truck hauling a backhoe, and a king cab truck hauling a backhoe. After speaking with neighbors, she says the trucks were there from 9 a.m. to about 11 a.m. Wow, they jacked a driveway in 2 hours? I didn't even know you could steal a driveway so quickly. 2 hours? But I guess with the right equipment, yeah, I guess that's all you need. Now, Paige spoke to several of her neighbors in the area. They all assumed that it was a job that she had hired a construction company to do. They just assumed she was upgrading to a new driveway. She spoke to the police and was informed that somebody unfortunately stole it somehow, which she claims is, quote, very bizarre. Well, certainly, it's very bizarre to steal a driveway. I mean, unless it's made out of bacon, then it makes sense. I'd steal a driveway made of bacon. I wouldn't steal it, but I definitely would go to that driveway after hours, right on somebody else's property, and just lick it. I just lick it all night long. And before you judge me for this action, ask yourself, would you or would you not want to lick a driveway made out of bacon, even if it wasn't yours? And now Paige, it says, is hoping to find the people that were behind the driveway theft. She told the news that she believes workers might have had the wrong address, and she wishes they would just come forward. If not, this is probably going to cost her over $10,000 to replace the driveway. Well, yeah, you got to do something about this. The law should get involved, because what sort of monsters are just stealing driveways, huh? What's next? Stealing the grass? Stealing somebody's roof? I mean, there's no telling what they might steal next. So hopefully Paige can find out whose asphalt here. Get some concrete evidence. Maybe get on the road to recovery for her home. You know, pave the way to a happier life. The article ends with a quote by Paige, who's very frustrated. The biggest thing is just trying to, find out who did this. I'm not trying to accuse anybody or anything, but just hopefully somebody will come forward and go, hey, well, maybe we made a mistake and took the wrong driveway. And, just own up to it. Hopefully I'll get a new driveway and maybe a porch without me having to pay out all that money. Paige asks if anybody can recognize the vehicles in the photos that she posted, that, you reach out to her. I saw the photos, and unfortunately, they don't have the name of a business on the side of the trucks or anything like that, so it might be a little bit challenging. But Paige, if you're listening, I suggest you hit up the local pawn shops in your area and see if anybody's tried to pawn off an entire driveway rather recently. That might give you a rock-solid lead, I'd think. Germany cancels the Holocaust artifact auction after some online backlash. This story is out of Berlin. Turns out a very offensive auction of Holocaust artifacts had to be canceled. This is following some backlash and complaints from Holocaust survivors. This Holocaust survivors group called on the German auction house Felsman to cancel Monday's sale of hundreds of Holocaust artifacts, including some letters that were written by prisoners and other documents that identify many people by name. The auction was titled The System of Terror, and it was a collection of over 600 lots, and it was taking place in western Neuss near Dusseldorf. It included letters written by prisoners from German concentration camps to loved ones at home, Gestapo index cards, and other perpetrator documents, they say. Wow, auctioning off Holocaust artifacts. What genius was behind this? I mean, how dumb are you? I mean, for an auction house to think they were going to move forward with this, like someone wasn't going to say something? I mean, are you okay? I mean, it was only a matter of time before this stuff got flagged. Turns out it was flagged immediately. And Auction House Felsman had to take it down off its website. Probably to the dismay of Elon Musk, who I'm sure would enjoy some of this stuff. We have a quote from someone named Christoph, who is the vice president of the International Auschwitz Committee. He says, "For victims of Nazi persecution and Holocaust survivors, this auction is a cynical and shameless undertaking that leaves them outraged and speechless. The history and the suffering of all those persecuted and murdered by the Nazis is being exploited for commercial gains. These documents belong to the families of the victims. They should be displayed in museums or memorial exhibitions, not degraded to more commodities. We urge those responsible at the Felsman auction house to show some basic decency and cancel this auction." And that's what they did. They canceled the auction smartly. They should have never taken it on in the first damn place. But, people can't say no to money. It just makes you do stupid things and sometimes illegal things, as you all know. I mean, this is why people smuggle snakes in their pants on planes. I mean, it's just money. And in this instance, you're profiting off of victims of one of the most horrible things in recent history is no bueno. I mean, I'm sure the descendants would like some of these documents and letters. I mean, wouldn't you want to have the documents from your ancestor that was in the Holocaust in your family's possession? Wouldn't you want to read it? And I mean, or it should be in a museum of some sort. I agree with this guy, Christoph. And I apologize for the terrible German accent that I attributed to him for this segment. I was just trying to bring it to life in a way. There's nothing funny about this. It's just weird. But in a way, it's also uplifting because it's nice to know that there's people out there policing Nazis and Nazi-related culture. I mean, if you've been asleep for the past year, I mean, the United States has a small Nazi problem as well that I would love to see heavily policed. There's just too many people out there that think this stuff is okay. There's a lot of people out there that believe it never even happened. I mean, imagine living life without a brain. A study finds that binge drinking in your youth may lead to career success in later life. It's the sound of science. Not sure I believe it, but let's dive into this study. Drinking alcohol in your youth may improve your chances of success and higher income levels in later life, according to some new research. Oh, really? Well, where's my career success, huh? I drank a lot of warm, natty ice out of a trunk in my teens. Where'd that get me? I'm in a closet recording a podcast, making $4.9 thousand a year. This is not exactly backing up your stats research group. I mean, for the amount that I drank earlier in life, I should be swimming in a Olympic-sized pool first thing in the morning and then eating a delicious breakfast of overnight oats between two Dalmatians poolside. But let me dive into this study that I assume was paid for by Bud Light. It says, while alcohol has long been confirmed to cause a wide variety of long-term side effects, including liver disease and cancers, new research has also found a correlation between heavy drinking in your youth and higher levels of education and income. I think the key word there is correlation. Yeah, maybe there's a correlation. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that it's causation. There's a lot of that going on in these new studies, which is why I think it's a waste of money for such things. Correlation does not imply causation. Have you heard of this phrase before? Basically, what it means is just because they surveyed some high-level income people and they said they drank a lot earlier in life, it doesn't mean that's what caused them to be successful later in life. Make sense? Now, behind this research is a sociologist from Norway. Oh, a sociologist. Yeah, no wonder why. Sociology. Yeah, not quite science, but okay, you can pretend to be science. We'll go along. We'll pretend. You'll even get a little money for your silly little research, I'm sure. Any science that puts out data that was a result of questionnaires is, so sorry to say, not very scientific. I mean, you can just throw this in the bin with all the Bigfoot sightings as far as I'm concerned. So we have Norwegian scientist Willy Peterson, who published a book called The Beauty and the Pain of Drugs. Ooh, wow, I might have to read that. He argues that intoxicating substances, including alcohol, may have the ability to advance young people's careers by breaking down social inhibitions and reducing awkwardness. Here's a quote from old Willy, the scientist. He says, "The most likely explanation is that all alcohol is a kind of marker of sociality, and that habit comes with some types of benefits. Sociality, sociality. I don't even think this is a word, Willy, but what do we expect from Willy? The most likely explanation is that, okay, the most likely explanation. Got it. What did you just interview some frat boys? It says Mr. Peterson and his colleagues from the University of Oslo spent 18 years on this? Come on, man. Wow. Kill yourself, bro. Just kill yourself. Oops, was that out loud? That was supposed to be a silent thought in my head. Now, Willy's conclusions were that young people who began regularly binge drinking in their late teens and 20s had higher levels of education and income in comparison to those who drank little or not at all. He says, this is a correlation. It's a correlation. The statistical findings are quite strong, so clearly significant. In the study, Willy references Oxford University's Bullingdon Club. Never heard of that. It's an all-male drinking club known for its elite and wealthy members, including former Prime Ministers Boris Johnson and David Cameron. Yeah, so basically frat boys, as I alluded to earlier. You interviewed frat boys and came to the conclusion, wow, successful people drink more in college. Let me write a book. Let me publish it. Thanks for my $4 million. The article breaks this down a little bit by saying, while an association between drinking and success might exist, the study does not rule out that this could come down to the privileged and promising paths that those who heavily drink might already be on, such as the Bullingdon Club. Yeah, exactly. I mean, anybody who's been to a frat house can tell you that, these boys drink heavily. They're wealthy people from wealthy families. They're already on the path to success. I mean, that's like looking at Congress and saying, wow, successful people drink a lot. Yeah, Congress is filled with alcoholics. What does that say? It's a bunch of rich people. This is what they do. And they start early at Daddy's Yacht Club. The article ends with a woman named Linda, who's the director of public health at Norwegian's government's Directorate of Health. She said alcohol poses a significant risk despite any social and cultural functions it might have. Here's a quote from Linda. "I will encourage reduction of alcohol. If you have a high alcohol intake, reduce it. And if you have a low intake, you should still consider it can it be lowered? Lower intake means higher life expectancy and lower risk of illness overall. Every glass you choose to skip is good for your health, I'd say." Well, thank you, Linda. Linda, no doubt, is actually familiar with real science with real data, not made-up data. Real data showing the amount of deaths per year resulting from alcohol, the number of people getting liver disease from alcohol. It could be a factor in dementia for all I know. It seems like it would be, but I'm sure, there could be a study on that out there somewhere, I think. I'll tell you right now, alcohol definitely leads to more STDs. So great, you're a CEO of a company, but you got gonorrhea. How's that 40 ounces to a PhD working out for you? Hi, my friends. This is your trusty host, Jonesy, with another episode of Weird AF News. I hope you enjoyed these weird segments from all around the world. Not as funny of an episode today, but, you get what you get. And, you can always look forward to Florida Friday for being one of the highlights of your comedy week, I'm sure. And I'll do the best I can. You can start sending me Florida stories for Friday if you come across them. My email's funnyjones@gmail.com, and my Instagram is @funnyjones. I got a nice email from someone that goes by the name of Carson, who said, Jonesy, I would like to hear the rest of that song from Monday's show. I'm amazed at how genius the AI lyrics turned out. Could you post it somewhere for me, please? Thanks. P.S. I listen every day as soon as the alarms wake me up. It's the only way I actually get out of bed. So thank you, Jonesy. Well, thank you, Carson, for showing some interest in the song that I posted on Monday, the heavy metal song called Delicious Drummer. You know, I went to all these lengths to make this AI song for you, Delicious Drummer. I thought it would be entertaining. I get one message about it. Hey, thanks. That was a fun song. Thanks. I mean, with very little feedback on that, it makes me not want to do extra things on the podcast. I'm just putting it out there, all right? If I make an AI song to embellish the story, I mean, where are you going to get news like this? You think your nightly news is going to then create an AI song about a story? And a funny one at that, about eating your drummer because you're stranded on a mountain. You're a heavy metal band stranded on a mountain. No, you're not going to get that anywhere. So unless I get some better feedback, I'm just going to stop all that crapola. All right, enough of that complaining from me. I'm very good at complaining, if you haven't noticed. It's one of the highlights of my hosting skills. And at the same time, it's a barrier to smooth relationships with the ladies, I've noticed. Well, I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, you have my information. If you want to hit me up, drop an email in there. Follow me on Instagram. And if you want to support the podcast, go to weirdafnews.com where you can buy a coffee or join the Patreon. Good day.